Hi everybody and welcome back to Lost Genre Reddit Stories. This post is from the subreddit Am I the A-hole and it's by user Fancy a Panda. Am I the a-hole for refusing to co-sign my sister's mortgage after my parents went behind my back? I, 28 female, have been busting my butt for years to save for my own house. I work in software, so I make decent money, but it still takes forever to build up a good down payment. Meanwhile, my younger sister, 25 female, is in grad school with barely any credit. Our parents, both mid-50s, found a house near them and decided she needs it. They made an offer without telling me, and now the deal only goes through if I co-sign. The only problem though is I had no clue they'd do this. My parents basically dropped a bomb. You have the best credit score, co-sign so your sister can get the house. They also hinted I should chip in for the down payment because you've got the money. If I co-sign, I'll be on the hook if my sister can't pay. She's still in school, has debt, and zero backup plan. The bank might also reject my future mortgage application since they'll see I am already tied to another loan. But my parents say I'm selfish and forgetting family values. My sister's calling me a monster for leaving her stranded, and my mom threatened to cut off any future financial help, like wedding money, if I don't help right now. Some relatives think it's insane my parents tried to rope me into this after they already made the offer. Others say I should just do it for the family's sake. I feel guilty, but also mad they put me in this spot. Am I the a-hole for protecting my own finances, or are they wrong for strong-arming me into co-signing a mortgage I never wanted in the first place? OP, first, you're not the a-hole. Second, do not co-sign that mortgage. Everything your parents are doing is wrong. Trying to guilt you into signing your future away for your sister's sake? Yeah, great job, mom and dad. They're also hanging fictitious future money over your head, like the wedding money. Yeah, they're never gonna give you any money, OP, because to them, you've got the money. You're the responsible one. You can save. Why would you need their help? Your sister, of course, absolutely biased, and she just loves being the golden child. And all those family members telling you that you should just do it, you should tell them to co-sign. They're family too, right? OP, in my opinion, the healthiest thing that you could do is tell them, no, I am not co-signing. My guess is that's when they're gonna get really nasty and they're really gonna start harassing you, in which point you just block them and tell them that you're going no contact. If they continue after that, restraining order. And what do you guys think? Let me know in the comment section, and now let's check out the community comments. Celtic Muse Books says, so, your sister is the golden child and you are not. Don't co-sign the loan. Tell your parents to give your sister the wedding money, and since your finances won't be a dumpster fire, as they would if you co-sign the loan, you'll pay for your own wedding. And we'll be sure to send them a picture since obviously they won't be there. Tell them how much you appreciate them freeing you from having to care for them as they age, since that will fall 100% to your sister. Not the a-hole, but your family's really toxic. And Dopey responds, probably something I should have said, but was blinded by my confusion and forgot to mention. I was adopted, not as a baby, but around the age of 6. Was always different and never bothered to reconnect with Biomom. I knew I was an outsider, but as I got older and somewhat overshadowed my younger sister with my successful career, I think it created resentment between my parents and me. So I think it's hitting the breaking point and really showing. Kelly Holly says, not the a-hole, financial abuse. This doesn't sound like the first time OP has been put in this position. You sound financially responsible and goal-oriented. Your parents and sister can insult you all they want, but you would be insulting your own intelligence by allowing them to bully you into signing. Although you can tell them that you will co-sign if only your name is on the deed. Sister flakes on the payments, you can sell the house to pay off the loan and will have no problem getting a bank loan to buy the house you actually want. Independent Stand 351 says, absolutely do not co-sign. Not the a-hole if you refuse. Let your mom not pay for the wedding. If she's threatening now, she will again. In the end, she probably won't. But that's not the main reason not to co-sign. The main reason is there is a huge chance you will be in debt for a house that is not yours. And Valuable Actuary 3612 says, lock down your credit score and make sure they can't use your information anyway. My sister had hers trashed by the ex because he would take out loans in her name. I have seen parents do this as well, regardless of their child's age or consent. OP's edit. I'm actually adopted, LMAO, forgot to mention in my confused and angry state. My parents adopted me when I was very young because they'd been struggling to conceive. A few years later, they had my younger sister naturally, which was a huge deal to them. She was their miracle baby. Ever since, it's felt like my role in the family became the older adopted one, while she was the golden child who could do no wrong. Growing up, I was expected to pitch in more, be more responsible, and generally look out for my sister. I worked my butt off in school, snagged scholarships, and eventually landed a good job in software. All the while, I felt like my family mostly saw me as the fallback option in case anyone needed financial or emotional support. Now that I'm actually building my own life, saving for a house or focusing on my career, I'm realizing how my success just makes me look like a bigger piggy bank to my parents. The more independent I become, the clearer it is that I need to separate myself from the constant guilt trips and the unspoken expectation that I'll always bail them or my sister out. I love them, but I can't keep sacrificing my own future to maintain a dynamic where I'm never the priority. So thank you all for the wake-up call. Well, the community agrees that OP is not the a-hole and that the family sucks. So now let's move on to the first of two updates. First, I want to clarify some stuff about my adoption. My sister and I are 3 years apart in age. I'm older, but my adoption was finalized around the time my sister was toddler-aged. The process itself has started earlier, and it wasn't all done in a day. My parents had me placed with them before it was legally official, so by the time the paperwork went through when I was 6, she was already 3. It's just a messy timeline that happens when adoption, fertility struggles, etc. I forget all the details sometimes, my apologies. Okay, so here's where I'm at. I'm absolutely not signing my sister's mortgage, and I'm definitely not pitching in for any down payment. This whole thing was the final push I needed to realize how messed up our family dynamic has been for ages. I mean, I've always known it was bad, but having them basically try to volunteer me and my finances without even asking just crossed a line I can't ignore anymore. I'm done. I've decided to cut ties. I'm already in the process of dropping any financial entanglements we might have. Cutting off shared accounts, making sure they can't use my information for anything, and basically scrubbing them from my finances. My job lets me work remotely, so I'm planning to move out of state soon. That was always in the back of my mind, but now it feels urgent. I need space, distance, and a real shot at a normal life without the constant guilt trips. I'm also locking down my credit, freezing it, changing passwords, everything. I'm not taking any chances that someone might try to open a line of credit in my name. I've seen enough horror stories and I'm not about to become one. Thankfully, I'm not alone in all of this. My close friends have been incredible. They're basically my real family at this point, helping me pack, offering me a place to stay if I need it, reminding me that I'm not crazy for wanting to protect my future. They've been the biggest source of support and I'm honestly so grateful to have them in my corner. So yeah, that's it. I'm not signing, I'm leaving, I'm done. If my family wants to blow up at me for abandoning them, so be it. I gotta look out for myself, my credit, and my sanity. Here's hoping things only get better from here. Everyone who commented their 2 cents are amazing people and I thank you all for your support while I'm dealing with this. Truly, thank you. Heart. Well, my guess is that things didn't stop here because OP gave us one more update. So let's move on with that to see how the story ends. Okay, I was really hoping the update post would be the last one, but here I am. I didn't expect it to turn into a bigger mess. After deciding not to co-sign the mortgage for my sister, I started taking extra precautions with my finances, locking down my credit, pulling my full credit reports like you all suggested. I wanted to be absolutely sure no one could use my information without me knowing. That's when I stumbled on an active credit card I didn't open. Some of you guys warned me and I guess I wasn't fast enough to lock down. It's been around for a couple of years now. It was being used, but I'm assuming my parents wanted to keep it from me with the intention of using it as leverage. As of yesterday, the statements show purchases that look a lot like household expenses. The billing address on file points right back to my parents' home. I confronted them via text because I'm currently a couple of hours away with a close friend. They claim I benefited from these expenses, which doesn't make much sense. Like, how did I? Because they never helped me with setting up my own apartment. Also, it explains why they assumed I'd be okay with co-signing. Turns out they've been using my credit for a while. Needless to say, I feel completely betrayed. This wasn't some tiny oversight. My parents have been quietly using my name to fund their expenses. Now I'm talking to a professional to figure out whether I should dispute the charges or close the account outright, without tanking my own credit in the process. It's nerve-wracking realizing how they went behind my back even before this mortgage BS. At this point, I'm even more determined to move out of state to get distance from all of this. My job is thankfully remote friendly, so relocating won't wreck my career. My friends have been amazing, offering support so I don't completely lose my mind. If it weren't for them, I'd be a mess right now. I'm not trying to be vindictive or overdramatic, I just need to protect myself. The trust is gone and I don't see how I can maintain a healthy relationship with people who thought this was okay. It's sad, and I wish it didn't come to this, but I've got to prioritize my own future. But for now, I'm focused on fully separating my finances from my family, getting ready to move, and making sure I don't pay the price, credit-wise, for something I never agreed to. It's scary, but I'm hoping it'll be worth it to finally have a life and a credit score of my own. Well, OP, of course it sucks that this is happening, but it's a good thing that it came out to light now, other than later, which it would have just been worse. So hopefully you can untangle this whole situation and just move on freely. Take care, OP, and thanks for sharing. And now let's move on to the next post that also has an update. This post is from the subreddit Relationship Advice, and it's by user NardDogCornell. I think my 30 male girlfriend, 45 female, is my personal assistant now. My 30 male girlfriend, 45 female, is between jobs right now, and while I totally support her taking time for herself, I feel like I've accidentally hired her as my personal assistant. I met my girlfriend 2 years ago on Tinder. She moved straight in. She was unemployed at this point after losing her job at the cinema for some obscure reason and has sort of given up with her job search, it seems. I've given up trying to push her to get a job, so now she's basically my housewife personal assistant, only she doesn't clean or cook. Every morning, I wake up to a to-do list that includes buy groceries, call the plumber, don't forget to stretch, huh? She lays out my clothes for me to wear for the day. She makes the bed while I'm still in it. I'm no high flyer, I work from home making sales calls. At first, I thought it was cute, like, oh, she's just being thoughtful. But now, I'm starting to feel like I've got a full-time staff member. I even found her going through my email, unsubscribing me from newsletters I didn't even know I was subscribed to. She's literally organizing my inbox. I didn't ask for this level of micromanagement. I don't want to sound ungrateful, but I'm starting to feel like I need to hire a therapist just to deal with her suggestions on my life. I've tried casually mentioning that I can handle my own schedule, but then she gives me a look and I end up with a sticky note reminder to have a productive day. How do I tell her that I don't need her to do these things without sounding like I'm being rude? Well, OP, I think you're kind of focusing on the wrong problem here. It's not about telling her to stop doing these things or that you don't need these things without being rude. I would start thinking if this is actually the relationship that you want to have. From everything you described, it sounds like this person grabbed a hold of you, is living from you, and is kind of micromanaging you in order to do it. She lives with you, she has no job, she doesn't want to find a job, and she tells you how to live your life. So again, I ask you, is this the relationship you truly want? That's what you need to think about. And what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments section, and now let's check out the community comments. The Unpolitical says, I'm sorry, what? She's 45 years old and got fired from a movie theater? I'm embarrassed for her. Look, dude, she's just using you for a free place and food. She's sort of a squatter and wants to make certain that your work is top-notch because if you lose your job, she's screwed. At the same time, she sees you as easy bait. She moved in right away. That is a red flag. She's taking advantage of your kindness for too long and she is too old for this type of behavior. Please tell her that you need to live apart. Downward Spiral Ham says, has she ever once asked you what you needed to do instead of her just doing things she wants to do? I'm a manager or personal assistant in my job. I don't lay my boss's clothes out for him. I do the things he needs, like running errands, dealing with paperwork, etc. She thinks you're stupid and she can get by just doing these stupid useless crap and feign productivity. The only way an age gap that large could ever work is if both people are equal and at the same level. She's using you like a dumb little son. And Stupid People on TV says, quote, we need to talk. I notice you put a lot of effort into helping me be more productive, and on a level I do appreciate it, but it's starting to feel like you're doing it because you don't have your own thing to focus on. What I need is a partner who works. I didn't sign up for a housewife. It's important to me that you don't lose yourself trying to anticipate all my needs. What are your plans to get a job? End quote. Then give her a time frame. Opie's Edit. Thank you to everyone who commented and gave helpful advice. I feel like I'm ready to go to war. Thanks for the motivation. Your tough love has helped me see the light. To all the people who think I'm a joke and find my situation funny, I hope you never end up in my position. I will be confronting my girlfriend tonight and laying down the law once and for all. It's time things changed around here. There's a new sheriff in town and he ain't taking any more BS. Okay, well, let's not waste any time and see how the sheriff did in the update. Hey everyone, I wanted to share an update to my previous post. I've been nervous all day today in the lead up to dinner. I think she knew something was off as she offered to make me lunch for the first time, which I accepted. She made me peanut butter on toast. I made her fajitas for dinner, but I made them so plain. No sauce, no vegetables, just dried chicken and wraps. So she definitely knew something was up when she sat down. She was about to lose her crap over the fajita when I told her we had to talk. Things got pretty intense as she stared at me in shock as if I'd just taken a stroke in front of her. As advised by Reddit, I told her things had to change. I told her I don't need a mommy or a crappy personal assistant. I need love, support, and regular sex. I was setting boundaries. She was staring back at me in shock with her eyes wide and her mouth hanging open, full of half-chewed bone-dry fajita. She started to cry, proper wailing and choking on my cooking. All of this was the most emotions I'd seen from her in 2 years of dating. But the consequential choking and the saliva and the really ugly crying face flipped a switch in me. I told her we had to end things immediately. Proper warrior crap. I had goosebumps. I felt alive for the first time in years. I've never taken cocaine, but I bet it doesn't feel as good as I felt in that moment. She was so shocked, she immediately ceased crying and told me I can't break up with her. This went on for a while, back and forth, as she was understandably very emotional. Eventually, she seemed to accept the situation but said she had nowhere to go, which made me feel conflicted. I don't want her to be in a difficult situation, so I offered to help her find a place to stay. I offered to give her some money for a hotel for the next week, just so she'd have a roof over her head while she figures things out. I made it clear that while I still cared for her, I couldn't keep enabling the situation we were in. I reiterated that I couldn't continue the relationship and that this was what I felt was best for both of us. I also insisted we would remain close friends. However, her main concern was where she would be staying, understandably, and she told me under no circumstances would she be staying at the local hotel. She said that she would only accept my terms if I was going to pay for her to stay at a high-end hotel 30 miles away. So I obviously agreed and I packed a couple of things for her while she caught up on her TV program and I drove her to this hotel in complete silence. She got out, took her bag, said nothing, and here I am now, alone again. It wasn't an easy decision and I'm still processing the whole thing. There's a lot of guilt, honestly, because I don't like seeing her in distress. I haven't heard from her since, so I'm giving her the space she needs. I'm not sure what the future holds. Thanks again to everyone who gave me the tough love and perspective. It really helped me make a decision to pull on my big boy pants. Well, OP, you might want to also cancel that hotel reservation, or else she's gonna be living there until she finds her next mark, and she's gonna make you pay for that. Hopefully, you don't. So here's wishing that you see her for what she is sooner rather than later, OP. Take care and thanks for sharing. And that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch it. Now, if you've gotten to this point in the video, I assume that you like these stories that I'm reading out. So here are a couple more that you might enjoy. And if you don't have any time to watch another story right now, save it for later. And also, don't forget to hit that subscribe button.